So, um, what's your when's your birthday?
February 23rd.
February 23rd. So that would make you Pisces. Pisces. Okay. So, all right. So this is how we can start, right? So, just give me one thing. I don't know if you're like really into astrology or not, or a little bit,
I'm
but
not.
like, okay. So just give me one thing that you've heard about, like just anything astrology related. Just one thing. Like it could be just about a sign in particular, or just your sign.
So my sign, I've always heard we're dreamers. Dreamers and I don't know. I think creatives. I want to say dreamers and creatives, and I've always kind of resonated with that.
Right. Yeah, that sounds about right. I don't know too many Pisces. I know maybe like two, and I
Yeah.
feel like they both kind of
Yeah.
identify with that. So,
Yeah. I would say I'm a dreamer, definitely.
yeah,
Yeah.
as
I,
far as
like
like dream, like you like have aspiration, like
yes,
type of dreams.
passions. I
Okay.
would say passions. I have a lot of passions. Like photography is one, skincare and creating body care and stuff would be another. Fitness. What else do I like? I love doing so many things. I don't know if you know what crocheting is.
Uh,
It's not knitting, but it's like with the one
okay.
crochet.
Okay. Yeah.
I recently got into that too. I made like shirts for me and my girls for vacation.
Right.
So
Oh, that's what's up.
I like learning.
Right.
I love learning. I like to know that if I want to do something, I can do it. If I really want to learn it and I really want to know how to do it, I can. You
Right.
know?
So you like just knowing skills and stuff like that, just having a bunch of different skills, and you could just
Yeah.
you'd be like a Swiss Army knife, like when people
Yeah.
need something, you're like, oh, I know how to do that. Oh, I know how
Yeah.
to do
Jack
that.
of all trades.
Right. Okay. All right. All right. That's good. Hidden Gems podcast. I'm here with an old friend. You know, haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, it's been years, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you're doing a lot of cool little stuff. So had to talk to you and just pick your brain a little bit. So yeah, Cona, how's it going?
It's going good.
Yeah.
It's definitely going good. I've been learning about myself, about other people. You know, I can't complain.
Right. You just got back from vacation too.
Yes.
So how was that?
It was good. I think I learned a lot just about myself. I had a lot of fun. I mean, it was definitely a lot of fun. We did excursions, we met people, we had good food, good vibes, good music. Um, but I learned a lot about myself as far as like what vacation means to me, and how I would want to do it better. I know that sounds weird, but like for me, vacation now, as opposed to what I would think it was before, now I think vacation is more so like disconnecting, detaching, but also like creating awareness, and connecting. I think connecting with the people that you're on vacation with, but also connecting with the people, in that country that you're in, rather than just solely about like having fun,
Right.
you know.
Okay. So in your opinion, like if you could have it your way, how many vacations do you think you would want to take a year? Or how many vacations do you think an average person should take a year?
Like going out of the country or just like in general taking breaks?
Well, is there a difference to you? Is there a difference
Yeah.
between in and out?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Vacation, like traveling, I would say I personally, if I could, I would do it 3 times a year, 4 if I could. Yeah.
that sounds about right. Yeah, I want to get to that. I want to get to the point where I could take a vacation like
Whatever you want.
almost every month. Honestly.
Right?
Yeah.
Definitely. See the world. That would be nice.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah. So, life's been good. Vacationing. What else have you been up to as of recently?
So I just graduated with my master's in social work. So
Congratulations.
right now I'm waiting to take my licensing exam so that I can legally practice and apply for the jobs that I want to apply for because
Practice what? What did you?
I want to
Social work.
be, yes,
Okay, so
social
but
work.
what do you want to do?
I want to be a therapist,
Oh,
so a
okay.
clinician. I was doing that already at my internship, and I was seeing about like 8 to 9 patients um, weekly. So like actually no, twice a week, and I broke them up, and it was amazing because when I started the internship, I didn't know that I was going to see patients. I thought I was just going to shadow, I was going to learn. I thought they were going to make me do desk work, to be honest with you. And then the boss came in one day and she goes, Cona, you have your first patient on Thursday. And I looked at her, and this was like the second week. And I looked at her and I was like, excuse me? Like, I'm not equipped. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I
Right.
don't know how to sit down with someone and fix them. But then I realized it isn't about fixing people. It's just about listening to them and creating awareness, asking questions, and creating awareness for them in their life rather than opposed to, oh, you have this problem, let me fix you. Like, that's not what it should be about. And
Right.
once I learned that, I was like, oh yeah, I was like, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. So once I get my license, I have jobs that I want to apply for. So I'm hoping that it works out. I know that it will work out, but you know, now it's just a waiting game.
All right. No, that's very interesting actually. You know, it's crazy. I just started therapy like I want to say like maybe 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
Yeah. And like you said, I used to think before that before I even entertained the idea of therapy, I used to think that it was literally like I'm gonna talk to somebody and they're gonna fix my problems.
They're gonna tell you exactly what to do.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know, actually being more aware of what how therapy works, it's not that at all,
Yeah.
obviously. But I've only had like maybe 2 sessions so far, but
Nice.
I think I'm enjoying it. I think
Yeah.
it's beneficial for everybody. Like, and I think there's like a
Definitely.
misconception too that people like think
Yeah, there's
you
a
need to have some
stigma.
like you need to have some trauma or something to take therapy,
Right.
and that's not the case because I don't think I have like real internal trauma or
Right.
anything, but I just think it's good for your mental like space and
Definitely.
just everybody needs to
Yeah.
participate in that for sure.
I agree. Yeah, it's definitely good for your mind, body, spirit. And it's, like I said, it's literally just about awareness. Creating that awareness in your life and talking to someone that is unbiased, who doesn't really know you and is not involved in your day to day and doesn't see you on social media or whatever the case, like you get a very genuine interaction,
Right.
you know?
So, would you? So, being, I guess, what would I even call you right now? Like a therapist in training, or a pre-therapist, or
Yeah.
a pseudo-therapist,
I
or
forget the term. Pre-licensed.
pre-licensed?
Pre-licensed clinician therapist.
Okay. So, would you be able to? Uh, let's get a little reflective. Would you be able to identify, or have you identified issues that you have within yourself that you feel like you need to work on?
For sure. Um, like issues as in what? Like,
Just in general, just anything that you feel like would kind of maybe hinders you from doing certain things, or just
for sure.
personality wise.
Um,
Because I think that's a bit important part too. Is like you need to definitely like be
yeah,
real with yourself. Like you can't go into
for sure.
therapy and like lie to yourself. You also can't lie to your therapist either. You have to tell them everything because then they can't
Yep.
really help you the right
Yep.
way.
I think that's a good point because you should practice what you preach. So if you're helping people, how are you kind of helping yourself or doing that? Because then if you're telling another person to work on themselves and you're not doing it yourself, it's hypocritical. So that is a really good question.
Right.
I've been working on patience, which has been going well, and just boldness, even just being on here, like coming on a podcast and talking to you and It's not something I would have done like 3-4 years ago.
Right.
So I think just having that boldness, just being myself and knowing that I do have something to offer. My voice does matter. And, just stepping out, whether it's, coming on here, talking to you, or talking to a stranger, or complimenting a stranger. That's definitely something that I've been working on that I realize hindered me a lot because of fear. Fear of being judged, fear of people thinking, oh, she's really weird. Like, why did she do that? Or, fear of what I have to say is not important, And I think that also comes from or stems from self-worth, not feeling like I matter or, whatever the case may be, or not seen. I think one of the trends in society is not feeling seen. So when you don't feel seen, you can either go down a really bad spiral, or you can say, hey, you know what? You can learn about yourself. You can create awareness, and figure out how to love yourself better.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I feel like a lot of people, what holds us back is that we are worried about what people think of us. I feel
Right.
like that holds a lot of things back that you could, like, really, I feel like we could all really excel if we just stop caring what people thought. Just do what you want to do. I feel like that's
For sure.
society as a whole. And, it's just, it's really tough for people to get over that. And I feel like social media has a big part to do with that.
Yeah.
Like the last podcast, I kind of talked about that exact
Yeah.
thing, social media, and just like the perception of social media, like how like it's basically like we talked about how like on social media, like people view it as like it lowers your self-esteem because you see people, your peers or
Right.
people that you know, and they're doing this and they're doing that, and you feel like insufficient, or why aren't I doing that? Why can't I do this? But
Right.
like really, people are just showing you what they want you to see. It's
Right.
not really like the whole spectrum of their life.
Right.
And you wouldn't want to like trade places with people because you don't know what
Right.
they're going through. Really, like the grass isn't always greener on the other side, type of thing.
Yeah.
So it's like people, like Instagram, for example, people are showing you the best side of themselves. They're not showing you. People don't show you when something bad happens. They don't put it on Instagram,
Yeah.
So I just feel like, yeah, we all need to. It's easier said than done, but people need to really get over that like mental block.
Yeah, for sure. I think me personally, and I started doing this maybe like a year or two ago, where I would take breaks. I'll completely get off. I would take 2 months, or I would take 3 or 4 months, and I would just completely get off. And even just, I'm glad you brought that up, because even just yesterday, I've been so caught up in photography and posting and doing this and doing that and editing and stuff. And I'm like, all right, let me put this content out. And I had to take a break. And I was like, wait, why do I feel so exhausted and drained right now? Like, why am I on the app posting and like responding and doing this and like watching this, watching that? And I'm like comparing at that point too, and seeing feedback. And I'm like, wait, this is not my identity. I have to enjoy this. So what can I do in order to enjoy it? I gotta disconnect. So like I deleted the app for like 24 hours or even a bit more, because I realized I don't know if at this point, if I can take obviously 3 months off and not respond, especially with having like my photography and my business. But I was like, you know what? I still have to implement taking breaks and disconnecting and asking myself, what is going on? What's happening right now in your body, in your mind? Like, are you exhausted? Asking questions. Because you start to compare. You start to be like, oh, wait, this person's life looks really good. Like, why doesn't my life look like that? This person seems like he's going on vacation 4 times a year.
Right.
Like, how do I get that life? But you don't know on the flip side what that person is actually going through mentally. It looks good on paper,
Right.
but you don't actually know what's going on with them.
Yeah, and like I used to do that a lot, like when I first graduated high school, like
Hmm.
coming out of high school and just looking at, obviously your high school peers. I feel like
Yeah.
that's when it hits you like a lot, like just everything that everybody is doing. But over time, well, I don't know, for me, over time, I just sort of like got to the point where now I really don't care about,
Yeah.
because, you realize that everybody's path isn't the same.
That's a good point.
We're not all, that's what's, like, people always have these like miles or these like marks that you're supposed to hit as a person. Like you're supposed to graduate high
Yeah.
school and then 4 years graduate college and then another 4 years, I don't know, have your career, and then
Oh yeah.
and that's not necessarily everybody's path in life.
Right.
We can all get to those points, but like it doesn't necessarily meet at the same time. It doesn't align at the
Right.
same time for everybody, and
Right.
that's okay. Like, I feel like a
Yeah.
lot of people don't feel like that's okay. Like,
Yeah. I
so.
agree.
But let me ask you this. So, do you, we're gonna step off of course for a second, but like, do you ever think there would be? Do you think we're going to get hit with like an apocalypse?
Oh my gosh.
Like, do you think
um,
an apocalyptic type scenario would be I'm saying in our lifetime? I
yeah.
feel like it's going to happen eventually, whether
Okay.
years from now or whatever. But do you think in our lifetime could we come close to like an apocalyptic type of scenario?
No. I will say no. I don't think that even really crossed my mind. Um, I'm gonna say no, just because I have faith that people will get it together. Like I feel like even just sitting with you and just realizing, yes, there's so much going on in the world right now. There's hate, but there's love. Um, there's rude people, there's nasty people, but there's people that will surprise you. I think there is a balance, but I also think it's based on perspective. Um, there's a lot of hate and violence because people don't feel seen or people are in pain. So I think it's really just about how you view it. And if we can adopt a different perspective of not taking it personal, I think the world would really start to really shift.
Right.
Taking a compassionate approach, a loving approach. Um, so I don't.
People are taking pictures like right in front of us, so that's why we're like looking. But yeah.
So no, I think I have faith in humanity that that will prevail. I think there's a lot of awareness for mental health going on right now. I think that when it's time, people do show up. People grow.
Right. Yeah. So you don't think like, I don't know, like a situation could happen where like technology could potentially grow to the point where, I just be thinking about all these different like scenarios of like how the world, like how is the world going to end, and I think
Yeah.
about like maybe technology is going to overtake us, or
Right.
something to that extent.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Well, let me just ask you, how do you think the world ends? It's going to end one day. So how do you think the world ends? What do you think is the most realistic
Honestly,
thing?
I really don't know.
Because then there's like other stuff, aliens, stuff like
Right.
that. I don't know,
Um,
aliens, zombies. I personally think technology is going to be the
Yeah.
thing that sort of takes over the world. I've seen too many movies with just like computers taking over the world, because we're advancing
And
technology
robots.
so much
Right.
to the point where,
Right.
you know,
That's a really good question. I don't think any of that would really happen. I think that at some point, even if it did get out of hand, I think someone or something would step in. I don't really think it would get to that point. As far as how I think the world would end, I think that's a really long time from now. But I think it would just, if the world were to end, I think it would be natural. I think it would be a natural disaster
A natural
or
disaster.
something that just happens like evolution over time. I don't think it would be intentional as far as like technology or zombies or whatever the case may be.
Right.
I don't think that would necessarily happen. I just think that eventually over time, the natural order of things, I think they would just occur.
Do you remember in 2012 when everybody said the world was going to end? That was literally my graduating year in high school, and like it was such a thing. Like everybody thought the world was going to end, and like I'm just like, damn, like we're not going to graduate. Like it's gonna like we're going to graduate, the world was going to end. Like I felt like, damn, I was never going to see the other side of like being an adult and stuff like that. But I feel like it never happens. All those situations where they said the world's going to end here, like in the year 2000, the world was going to end.
Yeah.
I feel like stuff just never happens.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think we'll be here for a long time. I agree, but I don't know. It's not going to be in our lifetime for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So you did touch on photography. So you take pictures.
Yes,
How'd
I
you
do.
get into that?
I've always liked taking pictures. I've always enjoyed it. And so when I graduated, I asked for a camera because I have a friend. His name is Kevin, and he's a photographer.
Shout out to Kevin.
Yes, shout out to Kevin. Dropout Media. And when I started following him on Instagram and seeing just his pictures, I was like, wow. It's just like, I have an eye too. I feel like I really have an eye, and I want to do that. So when I graduated, I asked for a camera, just because that passion was just building. Because whenever I go out with my friends, obviously we girls, we take pictures, and I'm just like, I'm really damn good. You know, I was like, this should be a thing. Like
So
maybe I should.
You're always the designated photographer. Like you're always the. Well, you have the best eye. You believe you always had the best eye, or you just had a good eye.
Yes,
Okay.
I would say I have a good eye. I think the three of us, two of my other girls, we're pretty much really good photography. We take really good pictures.
Right.
But I guess for me, I've always wanted to take it to the next level.
Is the girl friend group in shambles if there's not a decent photographer in the group?
No.
Can you guys survive without a decent photographer? As far as like, you know, if you're looking to take pictures and just have a bunch of pictures, is that like, damn, nobody can take good pictures? Like, is that like a negative thing? Or what do you do in that scenario if you feel like you're with, what would you do in this scenario? You feel like you're with somebody and you want to take pictures, but you feel like they
I
take
want
trash
someone
pictures.
to take pictures of me.
Yes, it's just you and one other person.
Okay.
And you try to get them to take pictures, but you just realize that they don't take good pictures. Do you still just let them take the pictures and hopefully you get a good one? Or do you try to like find a stranger, like, hey, can you take this picture?
You know what? I would do something else. I would guide them on how to take the pictures. So I would tell them how to position it. I'd tell them how to angle the camera. I'd be like, hey, you know, I would probably vocalize step by step. Like, how do you fit the frame? Where should I be positioned? What am I looking for? So I think I would verbally guide them.
That's important because people that don't know how to take pictures don't know what they're looking for. So that's really the main issue. Because you can't just set somebody up who doesn't know how to take pictures and they don't know what they're looking at, so they're just snapping and you're just like, these are all trash.
You look at the pictures like, why am I up here and why is there so much background?
Like, yeah, my head is cut off, like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So I think I would guide them.
But yeah, so you're, so you and your girls taking pictures, everybody's decent.
Yes.
And then you got a camera, you asked for a camera, and then what happened after that?
So what did I do? So back to Kevin, when I had actually posted that I got a camera, he had offered, he was like, hey, if you ever need pointers or if you want to ever sit down or something like that, I'd be happy to. And I'm like, yes, please. You know, yes, I would absolutely love that. I started watching videos and then I hung out with him. and he was very, very helpful. He let me shoot him. I'm actually going to shoot him again on Monday, but he let me shoot him and really just guided me on like what to look for, how to edit pictures. So that really helped. And then I just randomly started asking my girls, or just asking people like, hey, can I shoot you? Like, I don't want you to give me anything. I just want to shoot you. So I started shooting my friends. I started shooting people. I took my camera on vacation, shot my friends there. So as I practiced, I got a lot better.
Right.
And now I really enjoy it. And now I have people asking me, you know, hey, do you do photo shoots? And I'm like, I can. If you want me to, I definitely can. So I think I want it to be an actual thing, because I realize I enjoy taking pictures of people. When I take pictures of people, I see the vision before I take the picture. And even when I'm editing. So it's really nice. I just love it. You know, it's not even to gain something back. If I can, okay, cool. You know, like, but I enjoy it. I like capturing genuine moments, candid moments. If you want to do poses, I can also do that. Something planned, but I think taking photos of someone is making something come alive. You know?
So let me ask you this: why do you think some people are more, I guess, more photogenic than others, right? So why do you think that is? Do you think everybody can be photogenic? Do you think that's not a real thing? Do you think like everybody can take good pictures, but you know, maybe just some people don't know how to?
Yes, I think everyone can take good pictures. Being photogenic, I don't think that's really a real thing.
Okay.
I thought that for a while, but once I started taking pictures, I'm like, you know what it is? It's really just about confidence. If you don't have confidence and you're having someone take a picture of you, it's most likely going to come out terrible, or you're going to think it's going to come out terrible because you don't feel confident. So if you feel confident about yourself and you are not tense, and you're actually enjoying taking the pictures and you feel comfortable with the person that's taking the pictures, I think they're going to come out great. You know, especially if you communicate, hey, this is my best angle, this is where I think I really like how I look, or no, I like this side, or I like to do these poses. I think it's really just about finding what you're comfortable with, and confidence. You have to have confidence. If you don't have confidence taking pictures, you're never going to be satisfied.
Confidence is something I preach. Like confidence, we wouldn't even be here if you didn't have confidence.
Yeah.
I didn't have confidence. We wouldn't be here talking right now.
Yep.
Everybody needs confidence. That's like the key. That's like the main ingredient to like, I feel like, life in
Anything.
general. Yes, like it's impossible to. You're not going to get anywhere without it.
Yep.
To some degree, like
Yeah.
even somebody who doesn't seem confident, they have it to a degree.
Yeah.
Like it's there, definitely. Okay, so you're taking pictures. So what are your favorite type of pictures to take, or what type of pictures do you like to just have like taking pictures of people in general?
Yeah. I haven't really done anything else besides taking pictures of people, just because I haven't felt the passion. You know, some people take like nature photos, or they'll take food pictures, or like aesthetically pleasing like setups, but I just have not been able to get into that.
Right.
I really just enjoy taking pictures of people. I like portraits, taking portraits of people, like portrait style photography. I would say is my best type or style of picture. However, I really want to branch into like more like I don't know the term. I really don't know the term, but like aesthetically pleasing portraits of people. I don't know how to really describe that. I don't want to say like retro, but like, you know, something along those lines.
Right.
Of just moving away from just basic pictures, but more so like really just ramping it up a little bit.
Right.
You know,
Like,
doing
just more like just artistic, more aesthetically
yes,
pleasing, stuff like that. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the term for that either. But, yeah, I got you. Yeah, why do you want to go in that direction? Why does that interest you?
I guess it's because I'm a creative. I think it just comes from just obviously being a dreamer.
Because you're a Pisces. Right.
Being a dreamer, just I don't know how to describe it. It's so much more than what meets the eye. You know, there is so much more than what meets the eye, and you can literally create anything that you want. You know, it doesn't have to be this basic picture, you know. So I think for me, I love creating. I love poetry. I love writing. So when I think it ties for me, poetry and photography, because of how much I love explaining emotion or trying to paint a picture. So because I like trying to paint a picture or trying to paint certain emotions, I like to also do that in my photography. You know, whether I'm painting a fierce woman or a gentle, you know, daydreaming photo of someone, whatever the case may be, but just capturing an emotion or capturing just what's going on with that person in a photo.
Right.
You know?
So, poetry, right? Okay. So, do you write poetry today?
Yes.
Okay. So when did you start writing poetry?
I want to say middle school. Yeah. Middle school was when I started just scribbling stuff, just writing stuff. I was just writing stuff and throwing it away. I didn't really see the value in it at that time. I would just write, throw it away, or like it would just get lost. But then as I started kind of talking about it, I had a friend, we're no longer friends anymore, but she actually really pushed me to do something with my poetry. And I'm like, I don't really know if it would really matter. And so I started writing, sending it to her, and she'd like give me her feedback. So then I started doing that a little bit more often, and I would send it to like friends, and they would get back to me. They're like, wow, like I think you should really do something with this. And that's when it clicked in my head, and I was like, all right, fine, like maybe I will. And I started.
Was that the first time you shared your poetry like with somebody else?
Yeah.
Well, other than your friend, because she
Yeah.
obviously knew that you wrote. So.
Yeah. Well, the first time was my best friend, Jaylene. We're still best friends. She would write poetry too.
Shout out Jaylene.
Yeah, she would write poetry too. So we would always exchange, you know, poems.
Okay.
She'd send me what she was writing about. I would send her what I was writing about, and it was just our thing.
And this was middle school.
Yeah, and this was middle school.
So where did these little middle school girls get this
I don't know.
like desire to write poems? Like where does that come from?
I think it just comes from communication. I think instead of verbally having a conversation and communicating, that was our way of communicating what was going on with us. Poetry actually for a very long time was my escape of how to communicate, because I couldn't have a straight conversation about, hey, this is what I'm feeling. So in order to get across what was happening with me, I would write it down, and I would write it in like a riddle poem type of thing to like kind of express the magnitude, or you know, not so much of just how I felt, instead of just verbally saying it.
Do you feel like do you feel like when you write it down, like if you feel something, you feel like when you write it down, does it like sort of relieve some of it from you? Like you don't feel it as heavy?
Yeah, it's kind of like a wow. You know, I was really feeling this, and now it's like out on paper, and now it's reality. Like now I understand.
Right.
You know?
Okay. So, yeah, because you wrote a book, you wrote a poetry book,
Yeah.
and you got it published,
Yeah. I
right?
did.
So take us through that. So you was writing poems in middle school, exchanging it with your friend,
Yeah.
and then your friend told you, yo, you should like do this, and like,
Yeah.
you know, give it to, like, show it to people and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So then how did we get from that to
Um,
a book?
so I didn't really know. I mean, at one point in time, I was writing it out and then posting it on social media, and that was how I was sharing it. But then I was like, I really want to do something else with it. It wasn't really fulfilling me anymore, just writing it and posting it. Um, so I don't know who suggested it. I don't think it really came from me. I want to say it came from one of my friends, and they're like, why don't you make it into a book? And so that it took me about a year to figure out and really gain momentum of what I actually wanted to do with it. So then I started researching, like, what's the best way to, like, publish a book. I found out you can publish through Amazon for free. So I spent more time on it, and I was spending more time just praying about it and spending more time about what I wanted my cover to look like. I wish I had the book now so I could show you it.
Right. Well, I'll put it. You can send it to me
Yeah.
later, and I'll just put it right there on the screen so they'll see it.
It's called Shattered Minds.
Okay.
And I got the title from realizing that every poem in the book was a piece of me, a piece that was just coming from my head, you know. So it's like coming out of, I don't know how to describe it, but like the poetry, the cover of the book is literally me. It doesn't look exactly like me, but it's me, basically like just concentrating and then just having all like the words just, you know, coming out of me,
Right.
which hence Shattered Mind, because it's a piece. It took me a really long time to fully finish my manuscript. I definitely struggled with believing that it would become something, which was why, like, the relationships, I feel like relationships around you is very important. So if you don't have a great support system, definitely check who is around you, because it's very important. All my friends, once I started doubting myself, really uplifted me, really encouraged me, because I couldn't do it alone. You know, I definitely could not do it alone.
Shout out to the support systems.
So relationships is so key. So I was transparent with them, I was vulnerable with them, and I'm like, hey, like, I don't know if I can do this, I don't know if it really matters. And they really, like, leveled up. They really were there for me, they encouraged me. I think it was my best friend, or another friend of mine that was like, hey, when you publish this book, I want to throw you a book launch. And I'm like, a what? No. That was like far from my mind.
A book launch.
Yeah.
So like a launch, like a party.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay.
Yeah, and so we did also have that too. So I think hearing that also, like, shifted it into like, okay, I gotta do this. This is real. Because my friends actually, like, care and they want this to really come to life. So I was like, all right, you know, I was spending more time. I think this was during COVID, actually.
Right.
Yeah, I think this was during COVID. So I was always home, and during the nighttime, I would create this type of atmosphere in my room where I would, like, have wine, I'd play, like, music, and I would just write. I would write whatever, you know, inspiration that came to me from the music, or just tapping into how I was feeling, and I would just write. And then eventually I finished it.
So how is the book, like, format? Is, like, every page like a different poem, or does it like all blend in together?
So there's two sides of the book. It's Kingdom of Darkness and Kingdom of Love. So the Kingdom of Darkness is just poetry that, like, where I was just dark and lost and trying to figure myself out. And then Kingdom of Love is about just when I started spending time with God, when I started growing my relationship with God and realizing how loved I am, learning about my purpose, waking up, growing up. Yeah.
Is that the Kingdom of Darkness, that's the first half?
Yeah.
Or is that, okay.
That's the first half.
Right. Okay. What made you want to go with that as the first half as opposed to?
Because that's where I started out. So I wanted it to be like a transition of just what life, where you start out if you're in not such a good place, but where you can end up,
Right.
you know.
Okay, that's actually pretty interesting. I didn't know. Obviously, I seen like when you initially like
Yeah.
posted about it and everything. I seen it initially, but I didn't like really like pay attention to it or look into it. But now hearing you explain it, that's actually a pretty interesting concept. I like that concept, like the
Thank you.
dark, the light. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Check out that book, man. Like, go. I want to check it out. Honestly, I want to read a couple.
I would
So,
have. I'll bring you a copy
yeah,
whenever.
I would
Yeah, I'll
like
give
that
you a
actually.
copy. I have some copies at home.
Yeah, I'm not a big reader, but I'll definitely read it. I'll definitely read it.
And I
Yeah,
love feedback. So if you get the book, I love criticism. I love feedback. I like to hear what, stuck out to you. How did you read this poem? Which is what I do as well. So, like, I don't really like to explain why I write something because we all can gain something different, from a message or from a poem. So,
so is it available like right now? Like,
yeah,
can
it's on
people?
Amazon.
Okay, so it's on
Yeah.
Amazon. Okay, so yeah, so people need to go get that. Go check that out. Amazon. I'll put the link and everything at the bottom, so people can check that
Awesome.
out. So yeah, so okay, so the book now transition to now. So where are you at today? As far as are you just writing? Is there like another book coming out? Like what?
Yeah.
Where are you going with that now?
Um, I do have another book coming out. I am working on another book. I initially wanted it to come out in August, but life happens. I was graduating. I started this photography page. Um, just my line of whatever business, skincare that I'm doing. So I realized, it wasn't really realistic, but it will probably come out before the end of this year. If not by the end of this year, beginning of next year. Um, so it's actually, I'm not going to share the title yet because I don't know if I'm going to change it, but it's going to be like a part two
Okay,
to the first one.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I like that. That's cool. Um, yeah, and I think that's something. So that was basically your form of like, I guess, escapism, as far as like just
Yeah,
getting away from
for
actual
sure.
life and stuff like that. Um, so I mean, we already know. I guess we already know all the things that you do today that really get you away from the real world and stuff
Yeah.
like that, as far as poetry and photography.
Yeah.
And do you have anything else that you do just as a hobby that you don't really publicize?
Um, as a hobby.
Like for me, I wouldn't call this a hobby. Like, I don't publicize this. I wouldn't call this
Yeah.
a hobby, but it's just I spend so much time doing it. I feel like I have to, but
Yeah.
I literally spend hours on YouTube just watching, just going from video to video and just going deeper down any random
Yeah.
like YouTube wormhole that I'm in
Yeah.
that night. So
Okay.
I
Um,
give so much time to it. I would feel like, I guess
yeah.
it's a hobby, right?
Okay.
So yeah, do you have
Um,
anything like?
I guess I wouldn't call this a hobby, but I would just call it a way of life that I mean, I wouldn't say I publicize it, but obviously if you're around me, you kind of just know this about me. Um, so I just to real quick, um, I became a Christian about 5 years ago. So during my free time, I'll listen to messages. Right now, my favorite speaker is Maddie Montgomery. Um, I love worship music. That's something that I do during my downtime. As far as like meditation and creating awareness, like that's what I like to do. As far as like just sitting in awareness, like this is probably a type of place that I would come. I would meditate. I would sit in God's presence, and I would just, that is how I get full. So that's, yeah, I guess that's not something that I publicize. But like I'll go to a park, I'll go sit down, I'll disconnect, and I'll like either it's listening to music or just listening to, the water. That's something that I do often. I'm also a youth leader, so I guess it's not really a hobby, but I love the kids. I love connecting. Me and my boyfriend actually, where we do it together. So yeah, I mean, I guess it's more so I go on YouTube, I listen to messages. Curry Blake is one of the other speakers that I love as well. He has little bits and clips too, just about like how to love people. I think that's what I spend a lot of time on, as far as like with myself, but also how can I love people better. I read a lot of books. Well, not a lot of books. I have a lot of books that I've started that I really need to finish.
Right.
I
Don't we
love,
all?
yeah, I love novels, but I also love just, spiritually, enlightening books.
You said how to love people. You
Yeah.
focus on how to love people better.
Yeah.
What's something that you've discovered in your journey of trying to figure out how to love people better?
That's a good question. I realized what it looks like for me on how to love people. It really starts from realizing who God is. So if you can know his heart, and when I say God, I mean Jesus. So if you can know Jesus's heart and how he loved people, it just becomes so much easier. Because the way that he loved people is so very eye-opening, especially if you spend time with it. There's this book called Live Like Jesus by Putty Putman, and that book was transformative for me, because he really breaks down what Jesus did, how he loves people, how he was able to, see past, and not like in such a condescending way, but in just I love you, and no matter what you're going through, I'm going to love you. And I was like, wow, like I want to be like that. And that is the role model for me. Like, it's having his heart. When you get to know his heart and the intention is to adopt his heart, it becomes so much easier to love people, to see, you know what, I'm not going to take this personal because I see you're in pain. So what can I do to be there for you? Or how can we do life together so that this is not such a burden for you? So that was the game changer for me. That's the role model for me, as far as like loving others, loving strangers, loving my friends, loving my family. I don't have the best family situation, and instead of being angry, like adopting forgiveness and realizing that it's not for you, it's not for my family, but it's for me so that I can change how I love, and then things just start shifting.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at things.
Yeah.
Good way to identify things for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you too. Okay, I actually forgot what I was going to say. I forgot what I was going to say, so I guess we'll just come back to it. But yeah, but that's good though. That's good. So, do you find that you're, I don't know, I guess more? Are you happier today than you was yesterday?
That is a good question. I would say yeah. I wouldn't necessarily use the word happy, because I feel like happiness is, oh my gosh. I don't like bugs. I don't do bugs.
If there's just a random cut, you know what happened.
I
Okay.
probably screamed. I think happiness is a moment. I feel happy when I'm eating. I feel happy when I'm having this conversation with you because we're talking about something on a deeper than surface level. I feel happy when I see a little kid smiling. So I think happiness is really just...
That doesn't make me happy. That doesn't make, no, I'm playing. I'm
You
playing,
know,
but you know.
I think happiness is different for everyone. Obviously, different things make you happy. I get happy when I eat ice cream. I love ice cream. Um, so I think happiness are just moments where you're engaging in something that you really like to do. Um, so happiness, as far as am I just as happy as yesterday, I think it really just depends on what you're doing with your time. Um, so I would say yes, because I'm happy to be here. You know, I'm happy to reconnect with you. I had a really good morning, so I feel the emotion of happiness.
Do you believe in breakfast?
Do I believe in breakfast?
Yeah, some people don't believe in breakfast.
Like to have breakfast?
Yes, like you, that the concept that you need to eat something every morning. Do you believe in that concept?
You don't have to. I think it depends on your body. I eat something light. I don't like to eat a heavy breakfast.
Well, no, it doesn't have to be heavy.
Yeah,
Just
I
I
guess
think
something to power you
right,
up.
exactly. Like
Yeah.
I believe you need nutrition
Yeah.
every morning, like on the
Absolutely.
wake up. There's a lot of people that don't, don't go
Yeah.
by that. There was a time period where I didn't eat breakfast, like, every morning and stuff like that. I feel like you just operate better throughout the course of the day
Oh,
if you
wow.
just, mainly fruit can be like the best type of thing I think
Yeah.
to eat in the morning. Just something
Yeah.
with, nutritional
I
value.
agree. Yeah. I like to have fruits. I actually really like to have tea first. Whether it's a tea or a smoothie, that's
Smoothies,
one of
great.
the first things that I do in the morning.
What would you do if this is a question I haven't asked anybody yet? I've been waiting, but I feel like you're a good person
Oh
to ask this
no.
question. What
Okay,
would
go
you
ahead.
do if you won $1 million right now?
Oh my gosh, what
Not right now,
wouldn't I
not
do?
right now, because you'll probably like do a backflip or something. I don't know, like you'll jump in the water or something. I don't know, but like
I
no,
would sit here shocked.
what would you do if you like got home or whatever after this and
Yeah.
you won $1 million?
I would invest it. I think I would play it the smart way. Um, I would invest it, and then I would find something that fulfills me, whether it's an organization or uh, needy, for like needy people, for people that need it more than me, and I would invest in that. Um, yeah, I would invest in myself, and I would invest in other people with the money.
You know why I ask you that specifically? Because I feel like if anybody else would have gave me that answer, I might not have believed it. But I don't know. I get you give me more of a genuine vibe that you would actually
Yeah.
like do that. Um, yeah, I feel like most people would probably just I don't even know
Yeah.
trick it off somehow.
Yeah.
Just
I don't really, I mean, material things are great. Don't get me wrong. Um, but I think for the long run to maximize, I'm in a place where I'm trying to maximize everything that I have. Um, I'm not I'm not in that place where I need something shiny or I need the biggest house or whatever the case. Like whatever I have, I want to maximize it. So if I did have that money, I would maximize it. I would invest it in whether it's a Roth IRA, or I would invest it in real estate. And then I don't technically need all that money for myself, so why not help people? You know, that's always been a desire of mine. So I don't know what it would be right now. You don't like bugs either, you see? um, I would, find, like I said, an organization or a movement, and I would invest in it, for
okay.
sure.
So what would be, I guess what would be like the one, what's something that like, because you said like material things not really that like don't really move you like that, but I feel as though we all have something that like we
Oh,
really
yeah.
just like to have, whether it
Yeah.
be I don't know clothes. Some people like sneakers. Some people like cars. Some people like I don't know collector type of things. Like what's something that I don't know if you had the ability to really go all out on, what would
Yeah.
you like have?
I don't know if it would be two things, but it would be two different concepts. I really want, not a big home, but I want to create a safe space for myself, a creative space for myself. So whether that be in a home, I don't know about you girls, but I love to have a really nice bathroom, a nice kitchen, a nice like space in the backyard where you can host, just because I love hosting. Like I love doing things with other people or for other people, and having that space is very important to me. And if it's not that, I would maximize my businesses. I would go all out. I would go all out, buy whatever I need for my photography, every backdrop, or create a space in my house, in my basement, for people to come and shoot. I would do that, and just, I guess, start more lines of products, create everything myself, just because I know I can. I think I would just experiment and learn. I would use that money to learn more.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, definitely just max out all of your like business expenses and stuff.
Yeah.
Camera equipment, just have top of the line stuff so you can
Yeah.
just really get the most out of it.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but your business though, you do have an essential oil business,
Yes.
correct?
It's not technically essential oil, it's like skincare.
Okay. So yeah, talk about it.
So it's called Unlocked Essence,
Okay.
because unlocking, just that self-care. So I have like oils, hair oils, skin, like face oils. I do soaps. I do beard oils. I wanna.
What got you? I'm sorry to cut you off. What got you started doing that?
I had really bad skin in high school. Like literally, I went probably through all the department brands trying to figure out how to help my acne. I went to the dermatologist and she gave me pills, and I'm like, well, I can't take these pills forever, so what the hell am I supposed to do? So then I found this lovely thing that all the ladies I know you love, TJ Maxx, Marshalls. I started going there and buying oils, like natural oils, and it was really helping my skin. Then I got to know, I don't know if you're familiar with just like more like body oils, yoni oils, and because like ladies, when you get waxed, you have to, make sure you take care of your skin. So then I realized, I took a little closer look to like what is actually in these ingredients. I started watching YouTube videos, and I'm like, I can do this myself. Why am I paying somebody else when
I can make this stuff?
Yeah, when I can make this stuff and maximize what I have. And literally, most of the stuff you'll probably have at home anyways. Or you can go to the grocery store. So I was like, all right, well, I'm kind of sick of wasting my money. I think it was like during COVID too. And I was like, well, I really need to cut back. Let me experiment since I have all this time. So I started experimenting. I know my skin is, I wouldn't say sensitive, but it is sensitive. It's like in the middle. So I was like, all right, well, how can I help myself? So I started experimenting on my face, my skin, until I found, the right products. And I had my friends be guinea pigs, so I gave them products. I was like, hey, test this out, give me your feedback. And then kind of just went from there. And they also encouraged me too. They're like, well, can you make stuff for me? And I'm like, yeah, I can. And so if I can make stuff for you, I can make stuff for everybody else.
Right.
So that's history.
Does it do your products, I want to say, do your products, did you make them for your type of skin? Because you said you have sensitive skin. So did you make them with that in mind, or
Yeah.
are they universal for everyone?
Yeah. I want to say they sensitive, since I kept myself in mind and I was testing on my skin as well as my two other girlfriends. I want to say it is universal, but we all react differently. So, I mean, if I'm selling my products, I would still obviously tell customers, hey, like, not one product is for everybody. It's just not possible. But for the most part, yeah, You know, for the most part, my products are very minimalistic. They don't have a lot of ingredients in it, so it shouldn't really harm you.
Right.
So, you know, it's really just about trial and error. Trying it, seeing if it works for you. If it's not for you, you know, it is what it is.
And have you had like, how has it been going as far as just, have you had a lot of people really buying the products, or has it been, well, let me put it like this, not a lot or a little, have you been happy with the amount of traction that your
Yeah.
products have been getting?
Well, the past couple of months or even a year, I honestly haven't been focusing on it as much as I should.
Right.
When I was first doing it, and I had that momentum, yeah, I mean, I had Etsy orders. I had a couple of Etsy orders. I had people around me say, hey, like, I want to try this out. Like, where can I get it? Like, can you make me one? So I did have a few people, more than a handful of people come to me and like buy from me. But since then, I've been kind of trying to figure out how to make my own website. So I've kind of technically, I guess, shut down for a little bit just to create like a different face to it, give it a different face, work on a different logo. So I haven't been promoting it as much right now.
Right.
I mean, my Instagram is still open, but I just haven't been like, you know, putting traction out there, like putting
Right.
stuff out
It's
there.
been under construction a little bit, just trying to rework it around.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, I mean that's fine. You know, you gotta just make sure,
Yeah.
you know, you want it to be presented the right way and
Yeah,
stuff
exactly.
like that. So,
Yeah.
but so yeah, how do you still use your product like today?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that all you just use your products basically?
For the most part, yes. I mean, obviously, unless it's like it's hot. So like if it's sunscreen or like other stuff, I don't make those.
Okay.
But for the most part, yeah. Body oils, yoni oils, face oils, soap. I use my own. Yeah.
Okay. And what's it called again?
Unlocked Essence.
Unlocked Essence. Unlocked Essence. That's going. I mean, I'm gonna put everything at the bottom.
Yeah.
So, if you want to find it, you'll find it. Just go to
Yeah.
the bottom. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. You have a lot of. I noticed you have a lot of things that you've really created for yourself,
Yeah.
and you're definitely a creative person, or you know, want to. You know, you just enjoy
Yeah.
creating, right? So was you always like that? Do you feel like as a small child, as a little girl, did you, was you creating things to that degree?
To be honest with you, I don't remember, but for what I can remember, no. I was always very shy. I
Okay.
was always very shy. If I would go out, I'd always be behind my mom. Yeah, no.
Are you an introverted person or extroverted person?
I would say I can be both. I think if this was maybe like 5 to 6 years ago, I was more introverted, but I've come to realize that if you don't want to be an introvert, you really don't have to be. I think it's a choice. I think things that we think are characteristics, like, you can change them. So I think that has changed based on like my will and my desire to overcome fear. I think introvertness comes from the lack of awareness or the lack of, you know, going into, you know, uncomfortable situations, you know, and realizing that like you're choosing to be this person, but you technically don't have to be this person. So yes, I have introvert moments where I consciously will be like, no, I really don't want to deal with that right now. I don't want to be around people. But then there's days where I'm like, no, I need connection right now. Like, I want to go do something, you know,
Right.
I want to go talk. I want to go have conversations. So I think it's just a matter of choosing, you know.
What's your ideal, I guess, date for a first, and actually, no, don't answer that question. That's stupid. Don't answer that question. I'm mad that I almost asked that because I made it like a point to myself when I started this podcast that I didn't want to really talk about any relationship type of stuff. I feel like it's oversaturated. Too many people talk about relationships, and everybody thinks they're an expert. Listen, I'm not an expert in any relationships. I know my relationship. Right. And that's about it. So,
right. And that's how it should be. I mean, not every relationship is different.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I would never act like I know what I'm talking about as far as relationships. Like, I don't even want anybody to ask me for advice on relationships because, like, your situation is not my situation, so I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
But I guess I got a better question. What type of people? Or what type of energies or people that would you don't want around you? What type of things don't align with you per se? Try to keep it cool.
It's funny because I also was spending a lot of time with this recently. And I realized I don't want to settle for mediocrity. And what I mean about that is people who are not willing to grow. People who only on paper or on social media will say, I'm this person, I want to be this person, or preach something, but then don't follow through. And then you see their life and you're like, that doesn't make sense because you're saying this, but you're really doing this.
Right.
So like
hypocrite.
Yes, I don't have time for that. I am in a place where I want to learn, I want to grow. Yes, things happen. You take steps back. You get pulled back. But what I'm looking for is humility. I'm looking for vulnerability, being honest. So you want to be this person, but you're not ready, say it. I want to be this person, but I realize I'm not ready. So creating that awareness that, okay, like, what can I actually do? What is realistic? I want to be around those people that are just brutally honest of just about where they are. Creating that awareness in their bodies, slowing down. I don't want to be around people that are just constantly busy all the time, doing something, and then there's a lack of awareness of what's really going on with them, and having holes in their character.
So, so what? I'll ask you this. You don't have to be specific because we don't have to be like a messy sort of thing going on here. But like, what do you? What was the last person that you felt like you had to remove from your life or from your, just somebody who wasn't vibing with you? You just had to like distance yourself from them. You don't have to be specific, but why? What was the reason why you distanced yourself from somebody?
That's a good question. I don't think I've actually intentionally have distanced myself from someone. I think it just happened.
Right.
Based on.
I feel like it happens a lot. Like it happens a lot without us really realizing it. But like somebody might do something and you just sort of subconsciously
and
like.
you realize it just happened one day and you're like, oh wait, why isn't our relationship like this anymore? I do actually have a friend. We were super close and life happened. And instead of coming together when life was happening, it was more so I'm trying to deal with this myself. Well, the friend was like, I want to deal with this myself rather than inviting me into her life and being there. And I think once that started happening for a consistent period of time, we just disconnected. And I was like, okay, well, that's when it really, things come down and you're just like, oh, I guess you came into my life for a season and that's okay. Like, no hate to you because this friend showed me a lot. I learned a lot. I growed a lot. So it did hurt. So don't get me wrong. Like once I realized what happened, I was like, oh snap, like I'm actually really hurt about it. And if I do think about it now, like I do still get sad. Because you know when you build a bond with someone, it sucks. Um, but you just have to realize like it's not personal, it's not you. You know, you're still growing and you have to figure out like I'm going to take these good parts of, you know, the relationship and I'm just going to keep pushing forward.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of situations where it's like people are only somebody's only in your life for that for a reason. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's not necessarily like everybody, you can't take, like, this is my thing. People have a bunch of friends, right? Say you have like 5 friends and like you try to do everything with those 5 friends. Like you go to the movies with
Yeah.
them, you go to the club with them, you go XYZ, whatever, a cookout, whatever. And like everybody doesn't mesh in the same environment. So I feel
Right.
like, you know, for just anybody listening to this, like I feel like people need to learn how to differentiate like their friend groups. Like you can have these group of friends or these set of friends and they're
Yeah.
good for like going to a party or something like
Right.
that. Like that's what they're good for, but they're not going to really be good in a different setting.
Right.
And vice versa.
Right.
So I feel like there's a lot of people that's only in your life for that moment in time.
Absolutely. I think you have to be aware. That comes from really just being aware. Wow, that's so loud. Just being aware of
Police
what,
coming? It's the cops? Oh no, it's a ambulance.
just being aware of what you need. You know, the type of people you need around. So it really just stems from awareness of where you are, what season you are in, and realizing what you need and what you don't need, and being vocal about it.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of people get mad at certain friends because, like, you know, say you have a friend again that you want to go out, but they don't really like going out, and you're just
Right.
mad they never want to go out. But then you just have to realize they're not. This is not gonna be our friendship. Our friendship's not gonna be us going out.
Right.
Whatever
I'm that
we
friend.
do.
I'm that friend.
Yeah, you're that friend
I like-
for other people.
Yeah, I am. I like going out, but I'm not a night person. Like I wake up really early to go to the gym.
Right.
So I like to be in bed 9:30.
Yeah.
By that time I'm tired. If you try and go out at like 11, 12, I am in bed. I'm not gonna be.
It's crazy because, like, yeah, definitely more. So I'm not really a nightlife person either. Like, but I would say definitely since I've had a child that like
Yeah.
I don't really go out at all at
Yeah.
night. But I'm definitely more of a night person than a morning person in the sense that I'll be up late.
Oh no.
I like to be up late, but I don't like to wake up early. So
Yeah.
that's my thing. But so you like to get up early?
Yeah, I wake up like 4 a.m., get to the gym by 5 a.m. I feel great afterwards. It's hard, don't get me wrong. It's definitely hard to wake up, but what gets me up is knowing that I'm going to feel great afterwards. You know, it's that drive home when the sun is coming up from you leaving the gym and you're just like, wow, like I freaking feel great right now.
And you have the whole day in front
and
of
you
you.
have the whole day. Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's great. Yeah. Maybe one day I'll start waking up that early to do stuff
Try
like
it.
that. Yeah. I'm just not really a morning person. It's really bad.
Yeah.
Well, I'm more of a morning person now. Again, since I've had a child, because like, you know, when they wake up, it's like
Yeah.
you have to be on their schedule. Like,
It's
you
like
know,
it's not
like-
about you anymore, Dad. It's about me.
Yeah, exactly. When they wake up, it's time to wake up. When they go to
Yeah.
sleep, you should probably get some sleep because
Yeah.
you need to sleep when you sleep, pretty much. Yeah. So to close it out, what do you want to leave people with that you know you've learned recently, or that you've I don't know a concept that you've been thinking about recently?
Actually, I had posted this just the other day. I'd like to leave everyone with this. Slow down. No matter what you have going on in life, no matter how busy your schedule is, if you really want to know how you're doing, slow down. Take pockets of time to reassess, to ask yourself what's going on, not just here, but in your heart and in your body. What's your body feeling? Are you exhausted? Are you drained? I don't think a lot of people stop and ask themselves what they need. Everyone is constantly outputting instead of asking, what do I need to input? It's not, I wouldn't say it's necessarily, working out is great, but it's not working out that is going to solve your problems. It's really just creating that awareness. So if you want to see growth, you want to see sustainable change, you want to become, this woman or this man that you've always dreamt to be, you got to slow down. You got to slow down and see if you're actually doing those things. If you're actually loving your relationships the right way, if you're loving yourself the right way, and it really just comes from awareness. If you have no awareness, you're never really going to create sustainable change or growth. And if a year or two from now you didn't slow down and you finally stop, and you're going to, most of the time, you're going to see that, wow, like I've been in this same place for 2 years. A person can grow a lot in a month, 3 months, 6 months, if you're really putting in the work. If you're having really great habits, you're having that awareness, you're having honest conversations, and you're just being honest with yourself, you'll see a lot of growth. But if you're not doing that, you're going to stay in the same cycle. So I would just leave everyone with, create awareness, figure out what that looks for you and do it, and slow down.
Create awareness. That's a great gem to drop. Cona, you create poetry, oils, scrubs, what else? Soaps. Photography, books.
Oh yeah.
A whole lot of things. Just spirit. Soon you'll be creating sessions to talk to clients.
I'll let you know where I'm at, where you can find me to book an appointment.
Definitely. But yeah, it was great talking to you. I appreciated it again. Thank you for gracing me with your presence here today. This was a great conversation.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, go check her out. Go, check out all the things. And it's Hidden Gems. We're out of here. Good.
Oh man.